Are you satisfied with the way practice has been going this week?
I mean, it's okay. It's
Yeah, not.
yeah. But this time of the year, it's hard to be real up tempo. Guys are banged up and beat up, so I think they're focusing on what we're trying to do for the game plan. So that's been a positive.
Can we expect to see Zach returning punts this week?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? We'll see when the game starts.
And then kicker and punter, is that still have to decide it too, or is?
Well, we got who we got, unless we're going to pick somebody up on waivers yet.
But I mean, I remember you saying last week you were going to.
Well,
for
we
kickers,
look
it'd be
every
Justin.
week. I think David will be the kickoff guy. Justin's the field goal guy, and probably Sean Poole's the punter. I mean, it is what it is.
Any update on Jay and his condition?
He's probably out this week.
Oh, okay. You had mentioned yesterday that no one's asking you about the field goal and pump blocks you've had. I'll give you that. Like, what has happened?
Well, I think that Darren Waller's got a couple. Tall guy. He got a punt against North Carolina and field goal up at Virginia. Last week, Daniel Drummond got one. I mean, I think guys have been rushing hard, and we spent some time on it, and it's paid off. Darren's a big, tall guy, and he was fearless going in there and jumping in through the back shield. So it's a positive.
And it seems like on punts, you guys are close a lot.
Yeah, well, we're trying.
With special teams, I'm not trying to dig up more, but I mean, do you spend more time on it this week, or try to fix things that way?
I don't know if we can. We spend an inordinate amount of time on it. Okay, we spend most of the bulk of the practice on Mondays on special teams. We spend the bulk of the practice on Thursdays on special teams, and we practice it every day. So we practice Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So then after practice, like today, the kickoff return, the back unit is back there catching even after practice. So, I don't know that we've got to be more efficient and do a better job teaching it, but I don't know that more time is the answer. I think we spend about as much time on it as we can.
With the return unit, I mean, is there one or two things that just aren't happening to?
Yeah, we're having a hard time being consistent blocking. It's like everywhere else. I mean, it's you should never return the ball out of the 4 or 5 yards deep out of the end zone. We don't want to do that, especially with the success we've had with that team. So that would be number one. But number two, I think that it's just been a different kind of situation where somebody on the front line would turn a guy loose, or then the back wedge is not doing what they're, it's not the same guys. It would be easy if it were the same guys every time. It's just playing. And, there's a lot of young guys that play, and sometimes they don't do everything perfect. Just like, I was just going to say, just like a lot of other teams. I mean, as poor as we are, there's 12 teams in the league. There's 4 teams worse than us. I know it's hard to believe, but there are.
That almost sounds like it's what happens with the offense, where it's, if one guy misses, then the play breaks down.
Yeah, unless somebody can overcome it by making them miss, or doing those kind of things. The biggest thing that's missing offensively is big plays.
All right.
I mean, if you go back and look, we haven't had a big play in probably 10 quarters. We've had some, but when we have them, they've been called back.
Right.
And we need to have some big plays. You need to have explosion plays. It's too hard to go 3 yards at a pop. Not going to happen. You're not going to have a lot of 20-play, 95-yard drives in games. We've probably had more this year than I can ever remember. But it's unusual.
Clemson's had some slow starts this year. Is that something you want to take advantage of?
Well, we'd like to get off to a good start. I mean, I go back, and for the first 6 games, we scored on the opening possession. The last 2 games, we had a penalty on the first play that put us behind. And then last week, we turned it over on the first play. So we've had to punt, and we've been behind right from the start. When we didn't score the first possession, we went down. And you don't want to ever play from behind. Last week, we had a chance. We held down. Last game is also the first game we haven't scored on the first possession of the second half. It's the first time in 8 games. And we put together the drive, but we bogged down at the 30. So it's like, we'd like to get off to a better start. That would be a real positive. Yeah.
Tevin's one series that you all scored on, I think he was 3 for 3 for 50, 60 yards. Is that something that you can build off of, or get some confidence from?
3 for 3 for what?
On the one drive that you all scored on against Miami, he was pretty efficient throwing the ball. The rest of the game he wasn't.
Yeah, well, when you have to drive the ball for a long way and you're not hitting any big plays, you're going to have to hit some third down plays. I mean, you're going to have to hit some 3rd and 6 passes or 3rd and 6 plays to keep the thing going. And on that drive, we did. You know, we hit a couple of screens. We hit one on 3rd and 6. We hit one on 3rd and 9. You know, we down on the goal line, we converted to 3rd and 6 on the toss. So we converted some third downs. What we've got to do is get ourselves in better third downs. You know, what we do is we're not built for 3rd and 10. That's not what we do.
In a lot of cases, is separation by the receivers an issue also?
Well, I think it's, you know, everything's individual. You have to look at each play and see. It's, you know, it's a myriad of things.
Clemson's defensive tackles look like they're two pretty solid guys. Do your interior guys have to? I mean, you always want them playing well anyway, but do they particularly have to be on point? Would you say?
Well, I mean, you always got to play well. When you get in the league, I mean, all you got to do is look at the defensive linemen in this league drafted. We played against the guys at North Carolina. They probably got 2 or 3 NFL guys. Miami's got a couple of guys. Clemson, Brandon Thompson's projected to be the first defensive tackle taken in the draft. You know, most everybody in this league is going to have good defensive linemen. It's the nature of the league.
The nickel start? Well, if Jay can't go.
Yeah, more likely.
Good.
Thanks.